It's time for the HabNormals podcast. All Habs, all the time. Hey, everybody. I'm Rick, and there's Matt's forehead. Awesome.
Hi. What's going on?
Welcome to, I got it, the right podcast, HabNormals podcast. We do a few here. So listen, it's rookie camp just opened up today. I don't think there's any news coming out of rookie camp today, but it opened. They're doing their weigh-ins for those guys and all that. So what do we have here tonight for you guys as far as rookie camp? I've got the rookie camp roster loaded up. We're going to talk about the camp itself, the prospect showcase that's happening this weekend. There's two games, Montreal versus Toronto, in the afternoon on both weekend days. We're going to talk about main camp opening soon as well. I'm missing something. And then outside of that, we got a little bit of news that happened today. Max Pacioretty signed a PTO with Toronto, so we're going to talk about that. There's a video out of Lane Hudson going up against Caden Gooley, breaking in on net, and we'll talk about that. Let's see. Shea Weber, our former captain, will be honored in November and be because I think he's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
Yes. So when you go in the Hall of Fame and you're a Hab, you get honored by being in the Ring of Honor. So that's going to happen November 16th, I want to say. So we're going to talk about that. And then there's this little story about Pierre-Luc Dubois, who, God, I don't believe in God, but thank God we didn't get him.
Seriously.
Right? Okay, so he says he didn't feel at home in LA, and that's what went wrong there. And so we're going to quickly talk about that. And then we'll get to our main rookie camp stuff that we're going to. So I'm rambling a little bit, and it reminds me of last night's debate. But let's talk about Max Pacioretty. Now, I did a short today that I really wish I could put here, but with shorts, I don't get the copy of it, so I should have kind of loaded it up on my phone and played it. But it was only 15 seconds. I don't know if you can take a look for it. It's called Pacioretty and Toronto something. Anyway, it's funny, I thought. Anyways, check it out. But Max Pacioretty, rumored for like a month or so to be signing with Toronto, signs a PTO with Toronto. And also they signed Yanni Hakanpää, a broken down defenseman at this point in his career, to a 2-year deal. So let's talk about that. So Max Pacioretty joining Toronto. First of all, it's a PTO. Chances, in your opinion, he gets signed by them?
Probably not. Only because of his injury history. I think he popped both Achilles now.
I didn't know that. You mean he popped the other side? Because I know one side he did twice.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he came back from that and did it again really quickly, but he's come back from that, I believe. So any other injuries since then is not, I don't believe it's the Achilles unless he did the other side. So, but I mean, look, I'll if you haven't seen the short, basically I'm just saying Max Pacioretty signed, and then I laugh for the rest of the 15 seconds because it's kind of funny. In that, like, is Pacioretty gonna help them really? Like, what? I don't understand the reason. If it's for experience, okay. He hasn't won a cup though. Pacioretty did he win a cup with Washington? No. So he doesn't have cup experience.
He's got captain experience, right? I mean, he was the captain of Canadians for a long, long time. We got him right there.
But honestly, as far as captains of the Canadian go, not really a good one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right? Not the best Habs captain. I don't think he was well suited for it. Now, there were points where I really liked Pacioretty. Yes, very streaky goal scorer. But the guy can't score the way he did. So he's not that he's going to bring them 30 goals. Right?
Right.
Not going to do that. He never put up a ton of assists. So when he had seasons where he had 38, 39 goals, he had 60, 65 points because he didn't put up a ton. That's my memory of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And I just think it's really funny. Typical Toronto. Now, here's maybe the main reason why we're even talking about it is he was a captain of Montreal and he signs with Toronto. That's a fucking traitor if you ever had one, right? I'm just reminded of Josh Georges, who turned down and refused to go to Toronto when they wanted to trade him there. That's a guy that I can respect. So that's why it bothered me that you're a former captain here on a PTO, almost like please can I have a job with you guys? Like
pretty much.
Off. No respect. You know what though? I mean, he wasn't my favorite captain at all. I liked him as a player. I got to say, in his first, number of seasons when he was playing well, he put up numbers. When he was captain, though, I kind of lost some respect for him because of that. He wasn't a really good captain. I didn't think he was a great leader. I don't know. I lost a lot of respect for him that way. So now I guess whatever I had. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, when I saw it too, I was taken aback. I was like, I don't think any former captain of the Habs has ever even thought about going to Toronto. You know what I mean?
Never. I can't think of one. Maybe look, you go back maybe a long time where it was different, right? That rivalry wasn't there yet. Maybe that's happened, but nothing that I know of.
Yeah, no, me neither.
So, yeah, turncoat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their other signing. Now, this is they actually signed Hakanpää, right?
Correct.
So they signed Yanni Hakanpää, who I guess up until even last season played for Dallas Stars. And when Matt told me about this, it's kind of funny. Right? My reaction is like, how old is he? Like, he's really old. And like, I feel like I haven't heard his name out there in like 5 years. Yet wrong. So Matt, tell them what you discovered after this. We were talking about it.
Him. So I did a little research, and apparently his knees are in terrible shape. One of his, I guess his, I don't know which knee in particular, but one of his knees, it's pretty much bone to bone, like bone on bone. So I don't know how he's going to be able to play. A lot of people don't think he's going to be able to play.
And they signed him 2 years. I mean, 2 years, $3 million for the 2 years.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Not a lot, but they're a cap kind of struggling team, aren't they?
Yeah.
So now, and contracts are guaranteed, so the guy's going to get paid. He may get paid on LTIR. I get it. But if you got a guy that more than likely is going to end up on LTIR, he's 32. I don't think he was like a top defenseman to start with. You already have Chris Tanev.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Right? It's a head shaker. Like, although it's Toronto. So Toronto, like, you can't really write what they like. If you're a comedy writer, you can't even make like ahead of time write the joke because they write themselves anyway, right?
They really do.
They make moves and you're like, really? Like what? I don't understand. That's that. Anyways, we're updating you on Toronto, but it's mostly because of Pacioretty while we're talking about this. So if you didn't like it, I'm sorry. We're gonna move on to there's a video circulating now from I guess pre-rookie camp because I think I saw this yesterday as well as today. So it wasn't because today rookie camp. I know players have been coming into town and they've been practicing on ice together. So this is from that. And it's of Lane Hudson, crossing the blue line, coming in, and got Caden Gooley defending. And there's nothing Gooley can do.
No.
And he
No,
falls.
like,
He falls on his face. Like yeah, right? He falls on his face.
yeah, I mean, Hudson did a couple stick handles, but it's that shimmy with his shoulders, and then he just beat him to the side.
Yeah, and then when he got up,
it was so quick. The movement was so quick. Caden Gooley didn't have a chance.
And that's what he said. I didn't have a chance. Now Gooley's a good defender. So the thing that I take from it is everybody worried about Hudson being able to having the talent level to play in the league this year. Does he need to go to Laval at all? I think that answers the question. Now, given it's just practice, but I'm sorry, Gooley tried, right?
Yeah,
Gooley tried. So, yeah, Hudson's pretty goddamn good, and he's gonna be good this year. Like I see that, and I picked. I did my video about points and everything. I had him 10 goals, 45 assists, and a finalist for the Calder. So you gotta kind of question yourself when you make a prediction like that. But you see that and go, yeah, he's gonna be good. He's gonna do it. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
No, I mean, look, I've talked a lot about Lane Hudson on this podcast, and
a lot, by the way, a lot.
But I've seen him a lot. I've seen him in person play at BU. He really hasn't skipped a beat. In the 2 games he played at the end of last year, I mean, he didn't look out of place. He did exactly what he was doing in college against NHL caliber opponents. Like he's going to be very, very good.
We're gonna in a bit. We're gonna talk about something. Corey Pronman, a writer for The Athletic, put out a list of the top prospect teams, right? Teams prospect.
Like he rated teams
not coming out
like the rebuilds,
right? It's rankings of the prospect groups, right? So it's like he didn't see those games. Like, how do you question this kid? He played 2 games. It's only 2. I get it, but man, you look at those 2 games. How are you questioning whether this kid has the ability to play in the big league against men? He played against men in college.
Yeah.
What are college kids? They're not kids. They're men.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you question that? And he did play the 2 games, so I don't get it. Yeah, he's amazing. He has not skipped a beat from college. It looks like he's playing still against college kids or men, right? When he's in the big league. So that says something. And he was good in college.
Mm-hmm.
Like really good in college.
Yeah, became the first freshman defenseman to ever lead Hockey East in scoring.
Yeah, like really good in college.
A conference that had Cale Makar in it.
So
fun fact.
So like it's kind of amazing if you don't see it in this kid, but man, it's so good to see him do stuff like that. We've got good defensemen here, good young defensemen, and he's embarrassing them sort of in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Sign of the time's coming. Wait till the whole league. Wait till he makes his rounds of the whole league. And you know what? Yeah. For a rookie, second go round, they're not going to have figured him out.
I know. No, that's the scary thing because he's that good. Yeah.
5 years from now, they're not going to have figured him out.
No, I agree.
All right, so let's move on. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, Shea Weber. Now, this is being reported by the Hockey News, so I'm going to only temper it a little bit by saying this has been reported by the Hockey News. It might not be accurate. And I don't know, because the Hockey News has gone downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, their reporters are, some of them are, I don't know that they watch hockey even, so I'm not positive, but that's the kind of reporting. So I take this, it's probably accurate though for something like this. So one of their reporters is reporting that Captain Shea Weber will be honored at the Bell Center on November 16th before a game versus the Blue Jackets. And I got to think, I only question this way. you got to think the Blue Jackets coming in on the 16th, they're going to do a ceremony for Johnny Gaudreau, right? So I don't know how they'll do too. So I don't know if that date is accurate. But Shea Weber has been elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I'm right about that, right? I'm not saying that thinking of
he's a Hall of Famer.
Right. So when that happens, Montreal does this. So this is not like that's why it's probably accurate, even though the Hockey News is reporting it. I don't know that date is right. So the date we'll find out down the road. But
circle
so we'll circle back. That's the way. So he's getting honored. So let us know, by the way, how you feel about that in the comments. And Matt, how do you feel about that?
I think it's pretty well deserved. Obviously he was a big part of the Cup run in 2021. I know it was kind of held on to the ride. We didn't really, we weren't a team that had that expectation. But and when I say that, I just mean the way that obviously that season went and how we kind of backed our way into the playoffs. I think we did. I mean, we did. We backed our way into the playoffs, and
we did.
For me, I was just having fun with it, and he was such a big leadership. Obviously, he was the captain of the team.
That was your first year. That was your first year. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just phenomenal player. I think he's one of the best defensemen of his generation. Certainly deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm very happy he gets this honor. Especially
if he was healthy, you got to think if he was healthy and Carey Price were healthy, we'd have won the Cup. Or it had gone probably like 7 games. It would have been a much closer series.
Yeah, it was honestly, even though I think it only went 5 games, the games were close. They're only 1-goal games.
No, true. It was. I just mean that Montreal would have won more than 1 game.
Right.
I believe. Right. So because he was broken down, like how he even played. When you hear everything, I don't even know because he couldn't. He says
cortisone's a hell of a pain killer.
But he says he literally couldn't get out of bed hardly for a year after. And that's the reason why we didn't really see him, is because he couldn't physically do it, And the one time or so that he did come here, it must have been hard for him.
Yeah, you got to think, right?
I mean, he was really broken down. He gave everything. So is he deserving of this honor? Like, even if he didn't get into the Hall of Fame, he's deserving of it.
Yeah, and especially as a captain of the Canadiens. I mean,
captain of the Canadiens, and he gave.
Even though Max Pacioretty was a captain,
yeah, he doesn't.
But to be named a captain and to be captain of this club, I mean, you're an elite company. You know what I mean?
Right. Elite. But I wouldn't say the same thing about Patch, but about Weber. Weber gave everything in that last run. Everything. He had nothing left when it was over. Not an ounce.
I mean, he would have bit off Mark Scheifele's head if he got close to him after.
True, but I mean,
the way he reacted off the bench, I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna eat him.
I mean, here's a guy that he was running at. You wouldn't really know how badly hurt he was till he had nothing left. Like he gave it every ounce of everything he had. Like
and he played very, very well that whole run. Like you couldn't you couldn't tell.
I knew he wasn't 100%, but I didn't know to what extent he wasn't 100%.
Right.
None of us knew that, and it didn't show.
No.
He did some things. You look back at some of the replays and stuff that happened, and you go, and knowing now that how hurt he was, and you go, how the hell did he do that? So his pain threshold is like through the roof, and then this is a guy that could barely get out of bed for a year after he retired. So. Yeah, you got to respect the guy. I was upset with him for a while until I heard that news, and we didn't know any of it. And when you hear that, you go, oh, now it answers the question. Sure, he wasn't dissing us. He just
literally couldn't get out of bed. Yeah,
he just couldn't get here and he couldn't do it. And you wouldn't want him to if you know all this, right?
Right.
So no, really good. And I hope in this, when it happens, he'll obviously be here. And I hope that's the start of him appearing more and being part of the organization's family in a bigger way again.
Yeah, no, me too. Because not only is would he be a fantastic mentor to the young defensemen coming up. But in terms of leadership, I mean, to have a Nick Suzuki be able to talk to a guy like him who's been captain of the Canadians, who's given his all, like, just what a mentor to have. Because Nick Suzuki's still a very young captain; he's still learning things, and to be able to
awesome,
a guy like Shea Weber to talk to,
awesome
about leadership, like.
Awesome. That's what I was. I froze, so I didn't hear everything you said. But I wanted to say that while I was waiting. That's what I was going to say. He's going to be great for Nick Suzuki.
Yeah.
As for leadership and all that. Any questions, anything to run by, he'll be able to phone him and stuff like that. It's going to be great if he's back in the fold, and I hope that's what happens with this. I kind of think it will. Because I really do. I think the reason we haven't seen him is because he's recovering still. Like still.
Yeah, no, he had a few surgeries. His ankle was like mangled.
Yeah.
By the sound of it, by what I was reading, it sounded like it was like basically holding on by a thread.
Yeah. Yeah. So gotta have respect for him, and it's really nice to see that he gets honored. So I hope that story is accurate. I don't think the date is gonna be accurate.
Right.
Because Columbus, come on. They've got
without a doubt.
I don't really want to talk about all that, but I mean, some more sad news there. His wife is pregnant again. So, like that, to me, I saw that and I went, okay. I watched the eulogy she gave. It was really sad.
I
couldn't watch anymore. When they showed the two coffins and I had to turn it off, I couldn't anymore.
Yeah, I can't. I've been meaning to, but with everything that happened earlier on this year, like with my dad experiencing that loss, I'm just in no space to have to.
I don't blame you
to
at all.
Watch that again. You know what I mean?
I don't blame you at all. It's no disrespect either. You're
no.
not disrespecting. It's tough. Some people are gonna have tough time, and just to hear that she just found out she's after she found out she's pregnant again. Like, oh man, that poor Columbus team. Like that's a jinx team.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a really jinx team, man. I mean, literally, I'm not a Columbus fan, but man, it breaks your heart to see the stuff that they've gone through.
No, it does, and I think about Sean Monahan a lot.
Well,
like he and Johnny Gaudreau were like best buds.
Yeah, she mentioned Sean and another member. I can't remember who it was from the team. How they shaped. She said you shaped Johnny into the man he was. She mentioned him, and I can't remember the other teammate. God, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, so yeah, big part of that. Yeah, can you believe reporters tried to interview Cole Caulfield
saw that. Yeah,
on his way into the funeral? Like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, it's classless. I like.
Let these guys grieve. You don't think they're grieving? You know how sad a day that must have been for them if it was for us?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People who actually knew the guy. Oh, it's Line and Caulfield. They tried to get them. I don't understand it. Anyway. All right, let's move on and talk about something we can laugh about. And that's this story here. This is Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Oh, PLD.
Yeah, on his time with the Kings, it says, it's obviously my fault. It didn't work. I didn't feel at home, and my mommy wasn't there.
So that sounds eerily similar to what happened in Winnipeg and Columbus.
And he picked to go here, so.
Yeah.
Right? The other time, okay, drafted by Columbus. Okay, it is Columbus. Although Johnny Gaudreau's wife loves Columbus, so there's that. But he's drafted there.
No, like I'm sure it had. Talking about PLD with that in context, I'm sure it had nothing to do with the organization.
Right. I mean, he's drafted there, so maybe okay, you can say that. They traded him to Winnipeg. I'm sure it's wasn't really where he wanted to go. So okay, but now you signed with LA. When actually Montreal would have signed you.
Imagine how pissed off the Kings management must be with what they had to give up for him.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, he could have Like the opportunity was there to sign with Montreal. Right?
Well, I'm glad he didn't.
No, okay, but I mean, and you chose to go to LA, and then you want to say, "Well, I didn't feel at home there." Yeah, and it may be true, but suck it up, man. Suck it up a little bit.
Yeah, he just got
Man
paid
up.
$9 million. Like,
Yeah, man up and grow a set of balls, and suck it up for a while, a little longer than a freaking year. Man, got no respect for this guy.
no,
I didn't have any before.
if
I
a
have
guy
none now.
like Drew Doughty and Hans Kopitar, who the leadership of that team can't turn him around,
Right?
Like, there's no hope.
Right. I mean, that's a good point. That's a really good point, right? And you would think that they would be.
Yeah.
You would think that they'd have tried too, right? So I tend to think his problem probably is he doesn't get along with people and he can't fit in. It doesn't matter where he's going to go. It doesn't matter.
I think he's a prima donna.
And that, right? And he just doesn't. I think it's more that he probably just doesn't fit in for some reason.
I mean, who knows? And it's a shame because he is a skilled hockey player.
There's no doubt that he had the skills, but he's probably a little antisocial, and that affects. So, but the point is, you chose to go there. You can last there. Can't last there more than a year.
Yeah,
like that's yikes. Anyways, like Montreal, yeah, we dodged one fucking hell of a bullet with that.
Well, I think when I saw that trade happen, I think I didn't even say bullet. We dodged an ICBM.
Yeah, seriously, you're right. Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah. That's bigger than a bullet, because that literally would have set us back.
Oh yeah.
Bit. No.
I mean, knowing the way that the locker room operate, I don't want any part of Pierre-Luc Dubois in that locker room.
Yeah, cancer. It just answers the question, right? He's a cancer in the locker room because he doesn't feel at home. I don't know what he needs though to feel at home. I wonder what do you need, right? If you're in LA, must be a great city to live in if you like to go out, you like nightlife and all. It's got all the Hollywood people.
I mean, you're being paid $9 million to go play hockey, and
you're paying. Yeah, you're getting paid big money. You can hobnob with celebrities. Okay, so what do you need? What is it that you need if you can't be in a shitty small town or a small Canadian town, and you can't be in a big town like that in the States? Then what do you like? Where can he be? Maybe he likes politics and he'll feel at home in Washington. Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
Anyways,
I'm just glad that we.
And
thank God Kent Hughes is in charge.
Our friend Jeff.
If Marc Bergevin was in charge, it would have happened.
Our friend Jeff, rest in peace, Jeff, really wanted Pierre-Luc Dubois. Wrongo, buddy. I gotta say, wrongo. Jeff really wanted Pierre-Luc Dubois.
I know he did, yeah.
Oh boy, did he! He was really big on. He almost had me convinced that he almost had me convinced about it. That's how much he wanted him. But yeah, no, we dodged a bullet there. All right, now we'll get to I guess our main topic of rookie camp open today. I think across the league, right? It's not just here, right? Across the league. And by the way, we'll talk about it, I guess, as well. Main camp opens in 1 week. So that's very important to at least get that mentioned, that main camp 1 week from today. We're recording this on Wednesday. So, there's that. Really looking forward to main camp opening up at this point, right?
Oh, me too. I'm looking forward to the preseason, man. I'm so excited. I'm so
and hockey. Preseason starts on the 23rd, which is a Monday. I'm not sure where we're going to get that game. And by that, I mean, I don't know if the Amazon thing takes over in preseason or beginning of the season. So, because this season, just for everybody out there, if you don't know this, Amazon Prime is getting and exclusively getting all the hockey games that are going on Monday nights in the NHL. So whatever team you like If they're playing Monday night, you got to watch it on Amazon. In Canada, I don't know about the US 100%.
No, ESPN. It's ESPN here.
Yeah, but they might have the same. I don't know what the deal is.
I'd still be able to get it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I would think, but in Canada, if you have Sportsnet Plus, you're not getting the Monday games on there.
I don't think you were getting games anyway.
What do you mean?
Did you have all sorts of problems with Sportsnet Plus?
Well, it's a shitty.
That's what I mean.
But I got the games. No, I got the games. Still a shitty service, but I got the games.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to. I paid for it. I got to re-up this week. So, yeah. So in Canada, even if you got Sportsnet, they put out an announcement. You're not getting them on Sportsnet on Mondays. So be aware of that. So if you don't have Amazon, I think that's the point, is they want you to get Prime.
Mm-hmm.
More money to spend, like they care. Now, I'm not even Gary Bettman put out the announcement. I'm not even blaming him anymore, because the truth is it's the owners. And he's just the voice for that. He's the mouthpiece. But it's the owners that want you to spend more money if you're in Canada to get the games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, a lot of people have Prime. I mean, I have Prime. So
I mean, this day and age, if you don't have Amazon Prime, I don't know what you're doing.
It's kind of like you don't have Netflix or Prime. It's kind of weird, right? It is. I mean, I have it, I have both. Everybody has it, right? So it's
Rick can figure out technology. Everybody can figure it out.
No, it's not that. It's, but I have both. So for me, it's not a problem. But it's not like Sportsnet's price went down.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. But you're going to get less games. So anyway. So you should know this. So rookie camp open today. No news though. You haven't heard anything, eh?
No, not really.
And there shouldn't really be first day. They're just weighing them and doing their physicals and stuff like that. And everybody acquainting themselves with. So let's go over the rookie camp roster. I have it.
Cool.
Let's do that. So these are 23 players that have been invited. Sorry, I do have it from RDS, so it's in French. So the forwards are Owen Beck, Jared Davidson, Sean Farrell, Emil Heineman, Riley Kidney, Justin LaRose. Justin LaRose, I think, is an invite. Does that make sense, or have you heard of him before?
No. I've heard of Jacob Delarose, but that was ages ago.
Yeah, no. So I think Justin LaRose is an invite. Philip Mashar, Israel Mianscom, don't read anything into the name. He's an invite. Logan Newhoff is an invite. Maxim Pellerin is an invite. Charles Savoy, I believe, is an invite. Tyler Thorpe, draft pick Luke Tuck, Florian Jacki. Defense, Emmanuelson Charbonneau is an invite. We're going to see
What a name, Emmanuelson Charbonneau.
Yeah, it's kind of a real French name.
Fun fact before we move on. God, I'm going to confuse the hell out of both of them.
Yeah,
Florian Jacki put on about 11 pounds of muscle over the summer.
Close to 200 pounds. Officially close to 200 pounds.
This time last year, I think it was around 185.
Yeah, or 188, I think I heard.
Yeah.
But he's putting on the muscle, and he's gonna be he's gonna make the team. Remember when they drafted him? I go, yeah, it's probably just to encourage Arbor. This kid's gonna make the team. So I was wrong.
I know there's so many people I know that one point a game and also got a bazillion penalty minutes a game.
Yeah, and he was so much better last year. Like the improvement last year in his game in OHL. I mean, amazing. So this kid's going to make the team eventually. We're going to get the first North American look at Adam Engstrom.
Very looking forward to that.
Yeah, keep an eye on that kid.
Very good. Yeah,
that kid. I think even if it's just for a few games this season, I think we're going to see him in a Habs uniform this season for at least a look-see. Lane Hudson, and not so much in here because he should look really great here actually, but it's going to be fun to watch. Logan Mailloux, Simon Mathieu, invite. Owen Protz I'm interested to see how he looks here.
Mm-hmm.
David Reinbacher, and then goaltenders, Quentin Miller, who is a draft pick, and Samuel Richard, who is not. He's an invite. So, and I know this because I've seen this list elsewhere with everybody how they got there.
Now, is he related to the Richards, or is he just another?
Probably not.
No.
I mean, probably not.
No,
You never know.
not,
But I the reason I say that is probably if he was, we'd have heard that, and where I read like where I would have said that. So he's probably.
But it's like remember like Anthony Richard too. Like
who's not? It's like Anthony Richard, who's not related to the Richard. So it's probably like this. He may be related.
But he's a goaltender, Richard. So we can't give him a nickname with Rocket in it.
No, he's an invite. He's probably not going to make it. So it won't matter. If he does, we'll deal with it then. That's all.
I mean, you kind of have to. His last name's Richard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If the off chance that he's going to make
the Rocket, the Pocket Rocket, the Three Rivers Rocket. But how the hell do we nickname a goaltender?
Well, we'll find a way.
No, I know. I'm just poking fun.
The Stop It Rocket.
Oh,
there you go.
Rick had a good idea. I like it.
I'm freaking brilliant, guys. I'm freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. So. So
that was actually really good, dude. I love that.
It works. But now he's got to make it here.
Now he's got to make a save. First shot goes in. Shit! There goes that nickname.
Yeah, the name may be way better than the guy is in net, so you never know. All right, so the camp opens today on the weekend, and I know there's a lot of teams. All NHL teams are taking part in this prospect showcase, but it's not a tournament. So from what I understand, every team, there's groups of 2 or 3 teams that sort of hook up and they'll play a game against each other. So Montreal's only playing 2 because they're only their group is just Toronto and them. Some teams are playing 3 games. So it's just the prospects playing against each other for each team. It's going to be coached by Pascal Vincent, the new coach of the Rocket. It should be very interesting. So they should be on, if you're a Habs fan, or a Leafs fan, if you're watching, should be on their YouTube channels. And apparently, if not the Habs one, and I don't see why it wouldn't, definitely on the Leafs one, which is probably where I'll watch it for only one reason. The Habs channel, it will be all in French, whereas on the Leafs channel, it'll be in English. And I believe last year that's what I did. I want to say because I got a memory of doing that. So to announce also, in case you are watching and you might watch on the weekend, if the games are available to me to watch, I'll be doing 2 live streams, one for each game, and we'll have a lot of fun watching these kids playing the showcase. You are not going to be able to watch them, you said.
Saturday. Sunday, yeah. I will be able to. Saturday,
yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. So, what do you? How excited? What do you expect? Like that?
No, look, I'm just very excited to see. Like I said, Adam Engstrom, I'm very, very high on. Very excited to see him. Ready to watch Lane Hudson make all the other guys look like pee-wee hockey players.
He will too, probably.
Very excited to see Logan Mailloux again. I think he's another guy that, again, kind of going back to what Proman wrote, like unless you don't research, I don't know how you don't know how good these kids are. Yeah. I mean, especially those 2 in particular. But I'm gonna be excited to see the guys on the ice, see how they're looking, see how they're skating, and and
decent competition. The Leafs prospects. I don't know how good the Leafs prospects are, so we'll say that. But
like Fraser Minton,
it's still a rivalry. No, but there's still that rivalry.
No matter
what, it's still the Habs Leafs rivalry. It's there. So that's going to be interesting to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when our prospects kick their ass, although I think last year they did to us.
Well, here's the other thing though. Do we expect Florian Xhekaj to get in a fight? Probably.
Fighting. I imagine fighting will be allowed. Yeah.
Armour did it. Armour did it.
In the prospect kind of thing?
Yeah, that's when he beat the crap out of the kid on the Sens, right? Was it the prospect showcase or was it I don't think it was a preseason game. I think he did it in a prospect showcase.
In development.
It was now we're brewing.
Thing. Yeah, no, you might be right. You might be right. Mark Kastelik we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a preseason game, but it wasn't because you know the story about how that all came about, eh?
But they didn't like each other in the OHL too. Like they
No, that's not what I'm getting. Arbor was about to get cut in the practice. They had a inter squad practice, and he was going to get cut afterward. And he didn't have a great practice, but he had not played hockey much for a couple of years, was working at Costco. So he went to Luke Richardson and said, listen, coach, I need another game. I need another game.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Right, because I haven't played much hockey, and I know I haven't been great. I need another game to show you what I got. Richardson got that approved, and that's the game.
Yeah.
Is that where he destroyed Kastelik. And he had a good game otherwise, too.
Yeah.
And they signed him like hours later. So, yeah, interesting story there. So, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see all this. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope.
Yeah, I've talked up Philip Mashar a lot, too. I'm excited to see, how much better he's gotten.
Yeah.
See how he's kind of come along. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be great to watch. Owen Beck, too.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, these are all guys that realistically will see to some extent. We don't know how many games,
right?
But to some extent in the coming season, depending on injuries, depending on if it's just a look and evaluation. After the trade deadline, there might be room, obviously, right? There might be some guys moved out at the trade deadline, and we might see some of these guys get called up then. So, yeah, it's good. And this is what it's about, right? It's also evaluation for the coaches for the season to see where these guys are at. Yeah, some of them they won't see again. Some of them they won't see again. And you want to see where these guys are at,
Yeah, and you got to think they probably come up with like a short list of, all right, these are kind of the go-to guys if we need a body. These are the guys that we're comfortable with calling up. We think they can hang at the NHL level.
And if somebody needs work on something, what you work on during the season, stuff like that. So it's important. I like these type of games, and it gets the excitement going for the season coming up, right?
Oh yeah,
like there's not enough excitement here in Montreal for the upcoming season, right?
Right.
There's tons of that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Which will lead us into, I guess, right into main camp, right? Because main camp opens up on the 18th, and some of these kids will be in main camp, so we'll see them there as well. So let's talk about main camp. Since it's coming up,
well,
it is a week. We'll have another show before main camp, but still, there's not a lot out there, but what are you looking forward to with camp coming up?
Yeah, I mean, to stay in the prospects, for a second, I think we can both agree Lane Hudson's going to be in the main camp.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, but
he's breaking camp with Montreal too. Come on, yeah.
Yeah. But I think for me, I'd be hard pressed if like Logan Mailloux isn't in main. Like I think Logan Mailloux's probably.
Oh, he'll be in main camp.
Ryan Bacher, a lot of those names. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the names that we mentioned will probably be like. I think Owen Beck even has a chance to make main camp like this.
Well, a lot of those guys will be in main camp. The ones that we don't know are the invitees. Right. They're invited to see if they should get an invite to main camp.
Right.
I think that's really what it is. But yeah, the big names that we already know, they're going to be in camp 100%. 100%, those guys. And when they get cut, then they'll go to the Rocket camp.
Right.
Or elsewhere, depending on age and all that stuff, right?
I think most of those big names aren't eligible for the for juniors anymore. I think they'd all have to go to Laval. Beck, I believe Beck has to. I think Mishar does too now.
Yeah, Mishar will be in Rocket Cap this year. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So Beck. Engstrom, I'm not
Yes,
sure.
Holodeck, for
Engstrom
sure.
probably too, but again,
Yeah, because he signed his ELC before at the end of last season. So Engstrom should be in North
Luke Tuck as
America.
well. Luke Tuck will be playing in the.
Yeah, Luke Tuck, Florian Jacki, they'll be in Rocket on the Rocket.
I might have to do some Rocket games.
Where do you get the games?
No, I know.
That's the problem.
But still, though, they're gonna be fun. They're gonna be fun to follow because there's a lot of quality talent there.
We've been talking for a few years now, right? Expecting the Rocket to be better because this is going to be that year where they get that big influx of these young draft picks over the last few years, right? And I think the Rocket are going to have a really good year.
Yeah, I think so.
And you know what? Vince, I think, is a good coach. So I don't think we lost anything.
Look,
really
I mean, like we've said, Gordon and Hughes brought him in. I have all the trust in the world in them. I don't think they would have made a hire that they think could kind of jeopardize the development system that we have going right now.
Yeah. I don't think they hired a guy just because he's French.
Right.
Sure, he's French.
Right. And he had a lot of good things to say today. He had a little media availability, and I kind of like what he said.
It was mostly in French, though. That was my problem with it, and they're doing that again to us. But I understood some of the French stuff too. He seems. I think we'll be fine with him. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I think so too, and I'm really interested, just like I said, to see that crop of young defensemen because, we might be in for some surprises. Like I'm really anxious to see how Reinbacher and Mailloux look compared to maybe a Barron or Struble or something. Not that I'm saying they're at that level yet, but I mean, I certainly think. I think. Mailloux anyway. I think
a lot of people think he'll break. A lot of people think he'll break camp with Montreal.
It's going to be very fun.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence because there's times I think yes, times I think maybe not. But Mailloux's got a good shot to break camp, or at the very least, in my opinion, there'll be an injury on defense because there always is. He'll get a shot, call up, and he'll stick.
Or Justin Barron shits the bed, whichever one comes first. And I want Justin Barron to succeed, though. To succeed, rather. I do. Of course. I like Justin Barron a lot, but he's
2 years in a row
going to be the guy on the hot seat right now. You know what I mean?
The last 2 seasons, right? He started out kind of gimpy and had to go down.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, he's on the hot seat right now. And if they see something where they go, wow, I think Mailloux maybe gives us a better chance to win. Again, might see a surprise there. I don't know. But
the only surprise you'll see, I think, with Barron is he'll be demoted to 7th. They can't send him to Laval.
Well, no, I know.
They got to waive him.
But you know what I'm getting at, though, right? They might see somewhere where they go, wow, we can't hold Mailloux off the team.
Right.
Sorry, Justin, you're playing. And Barron's only making $1 million and change, so it's whatever.
Okay,
you put him at 7D, but
but he'll play. He won't get 50 games, so he'll get 30.
Yeah,
Mailloux probably won't play every single game if he makes it, right?
Right.
So they'll still rotate somewhat. Mm-hmm. Can you believe a lot of people think Jackie's going to be the 7th D?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense,
right? I don't know. It makes me wonder. So speaking of people who don't seem to know how to judge Habs talent, so this came out today. So these are Corey Pronman's rankings for the prospect pools.
No, this is rankings based on how rebuilds, basically teams that are rebuilding. Ranking.
Oh, that's what this is? Rebuilding teams?
Yeah. He's ranking them based on the best, the team in whose rebuild is going the best to down to, whatever. So basically he's saying that Ottawa's got the second best rebuild going in the NHL right now, which is bullshit.
Hell, Habs should be number 1 here.
That's why.
Why though? Why do I say that? The quickest one. It's the quickest one of all of these.
Right. No, and that was my point when I brought it up in the group chat. And I'm going, I get Chicago, I get San Jose in terms of
but Chicago, just starting. Just starting.
Right. And I get from a standpoint though, if you're looking at high end prospects, obviously Chicago, Bedard, Celebrini, Will Smith, but if you're also taking into consideration how effective the rebuild is and which teams I guess are closer to being competitive, I don't know how the Habs aren't in the top two. Like New Jersey, I think you could probably put because New Jersey's been in the playoffs and they actually have done a very good job. But
Okay.
I don't know how Montreal's not up in the top two. Like it doesn't make sense. I mean, you read what he wrote, and he said that he doesn't. The Canadians still have to look for, top end talent on the blue line. I'm going.
What? I know
he's not even like looked at a roster. Like
he's an idiot. That's an idiot. And listen, Ottawa. Their rebuild was over 2 years ago, so how are they on this list? Ha! But they said their rebuild was over 2 years ago. It's not, but so.
Well, I don't understand how Buffalo's at 7 either. Well, that rebuild's been going on for the last 20 years.
That's the point, right? Montreal, 3rd year of the rebuild. You know what? After this year, that rebuild's over.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be probably making the play, if maybe not this year even making the playoffs. So 3 years and your rebuild is, come on. And Chicago should be behind them. Why? Because they're behind in those, they've done a great job, but they're
right. But again, that's why when I looked at this, I'm going, well, if I'm rating a rebuild, the team at the top would be the team that I think is closest to getting out of it and being able to compete. And if you're going by that, I don't know how the Canadians aren't in the top 3. Top 2, really, honestly, is where we should be.
Number 1, in my opinion, from the teams there. Honestly, number 1 from my opinion.
It's I might give Jose. I might give New Jersey an edge just because they've been in the play and they do. I mean, they've done a solid job.
But they shit the bed last year.
They did.
Okay. I'll be fair. And for me, Chicago and San Jose doing a really good job in their rebuild.
But they just started, like you said.
But it's still too early. So I think Montreal. So maybe New Jersey, Montreal, New Jersey. But I think that. And come on, Seattle, Buffalo, Utah ahead of that. How?
I mean, if you want to talk about Utah, if you want to also rope in the Coyotes, I think they've been rebuilding since they came in the league.
Right, and Utah, well, it's their first year, so anything they did, they're just starting. They did a good job so far in their first year, agree, but they can't be ahead of Montreal. No, this is ridiculous. And let us know in the comment section if you're still watching us.
And look, I don't even
what think here.
I'm not even coming from a place of bias, right? Like, just look. All you got to do is look at the roster. Look at, the talent that's here. Look at statistically. Go look at the top lines in the league last year statistically.
No, and also from what he's written,
Slav, Suzuki, Caulfield line.
Right.
Top 5 line in the league.
Oh, yeah, right.
Lane Hudson on defense.
Yeah, but he's ignoring that kind of, right? He's ignoring that. He's ignoring Mayu. He's ignoring Reinbacher.
Dooley apparently
kind of too. Yeah, he's just ignoring the talent on the blue line because it hasn't fully emerged yet. What? But you're supposed to be judging it. Like, I don't understand where he's coming from. So he either doesn't like the Habs, so there's a bias from him. He doesn't watch the Habs, or he's fake and he doesn't really know hockey.
I love The Athletic. I think The Athletic's fantastic, but for a guy who's a credentialed hockey writer for The Athletic, like, you kind of got to expect better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he
shit the bed here.
And I don't mean, I don't mean any disrespect, on a personal level. Like, I'm sure he's a good guy, and obviously he's worked hard to get where he is, but this is just ridiculous. From a hockey standpoint, I'm sorry. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, when you do something that is exactly that, mind-boggling, well, I'm sorry, I don't care what your reputation is or whatever. You've still done something that's kind of mind-boggling. And the fact that he may be good at his job makes this even more mind-boggling.
Like, how is Ottawa? Ottawa is about as close to being able to compete for a playoff spot as the Toronto Maple Leafs are to winning a cup.
No, they're closer than Toronto.
No, I guess. But you know what I mean. Like,
No, I know what you
Ottawa
mean.
took like 3 steps back.
Like yeah, and they announced the rebuild was over a couple seasons ago. It wasn't. You can't. How do you unless they show this season? Yeah, a rebuild. Then you can't
They
take
also
that
have to forfeit a first
seriously.
round pick, so you're losing a prospect, a top
Yeah,
caliber prospect.
that ain't
I
gonna
don't
help
get
them.
it.
That ain't
I don't
gonna
get
help
it.
them. No, I
Okay,
don't
cool. You
care.
got Linus Allmark. That's fine. Who the hell's playing in front of him besides Jake Sanderson on the back end?
No, but even so, until I see it actually happen, I don't know that I'm gonna believe it till then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel with them. Same thing with Buffalo. Even though, look at their roster. That's a pretty good fucking roster.
Yeah.
But until Buffalo doesn't fall apart midway through the season, if not earlier, I'm gonna believe it when I see it.
Yeah. No, I'm right with you there.
You know, so even though look, you look at Buffalo, they've got some good players there.
No, and that's why I always say, when it comes to the Sabres, they got to put hockey people in charge. The biggest issue that I have with them is the Pagulas still have final say on everything, which
Yeah,
is
it's got to
ridiculous.
be.
They had that same way with the Buffalo Bills, but they finally let the football people run the Bills, and then they started winning and became one of the best teams in football. Until that happens with Buffalo, they're not going to get out of this rebuild.
Is it possible the reason why they brought Lindy Ruff back? That's what Lindy Ruff is there now, right?
Yeah.
You think it's possible that they brought him back for exactly that reason, because of his experience? Like maybe he's going to have a bigger role than just head coach.
But I'm talking about like up and upper mid. Like Kim Pegula has final say on everything they do, which is ridiculous.
I get it. But
she's not a sports person at all. She's just the wife of the owner.
I get it, but that's you're not getting my whole point. Is that experience and all that he's going to consult and actually maybe you think maybe that's part. You think maybe that's what they're doing.
Like I said, until we see it, I don't believe it. Yeah.
I get it. But I'm saying maybe that is why, because I thought when they hired Lindy Ruff, it's kind of a head scratcher there too. For me, it was.
But they got great players. I mean, Owen Power and Dahlin on the back end. Guys like Dylan Cousins. Even Bo Byram on the back end now. But
wouldn't you want to bring
guys like Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins? Like
but wouldn't you want to bring in a guy that's more modern hockey minded than Lindy Ruff?
I would.
For these guys. So I'm saying maybe that's what they did, is brought him into the organization again. And maybe he'll graduate up toward, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there.
Who knows? Who knows with Buffalo?
I just thought Lindy Ruff was a weird hire. A lot of people don't, oddly enough, like Cam and Alex, I think. Both sort of don't feel that.
I mean, in a way, like he'll bring some stability, which is good, and I kind of like it that way. But yeah, in terms of kind of moving forward,
I'd want
doesn't
more
make
modern.
that much sense to me.
Yeah, I'd want to move more into the modern style of coaching than an older guy. Not, but I have to say though, for the old style coaches, can't say I've ever heard anything bad about Lindy Ruff.
No, neither have I.
The same like Babcock and stuff. What are you doing exactly?
I don't know.
You're on camera, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you know. Okay, so I can take this thing down, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, no need to really read what he wrote there, because I think either he's in a bad mood and something about Montreal pissed him off before he wrote that, or
maybe he had a bad batch of Putin.
Or maybe his girlfriend ran away with a Habs fan. I don't know, something weird. I just think it's very biased in the wrong way.
Yeah, no, like I said, it just didn't. And again, coming from someone who writes for The Athletic,
you wouldn't expect that.
Expect better. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I know Corey Parman. I follow him in places and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know the guy. I didn't think he'd make that
no,
bad.
Me neither.
So I'm just curious. Although you're just kind of telling me the slant he's taking, but even then, it doesn't make sense.
No.
So either way, I'd love to hear his explanation. Like, he must be getting. I know he's getting a lot of flack on Twitter about it, and I imagine elsewhere. I'd love to hear his thoughts on, like, in defending himself for why he wrote that or ranked them that way.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, me too. Like, genuinely interested in what was going through his mind. Like, what, like, does he just not watch the team, or is it just
right? More in detail, like not what he wrote there. Like, I want a different. I'd like to hear from him in a different way.
Because, like, it's kind of disrespectful, honestly, to not even acknowledge Lane Hudson, right? And again, I know, maybe I'm a little biased there because I watched him for so long, but at the same time, I mean, the consensus around,
it's not. You're not the only one thinking
like,
that. I
it's
mean,
like
everybody.
The kid's a stud. I mean, hell, even Frank Saravalli on Daily Faceoff wrote a great column about him and basically said, what we've echoed, like, the kid's a stud. It might take a little time for him to really fully get going, but
I don't think it's going to take that long.
Me neither. But again, but the gist of what Frank Saravalli wrote was like, kid's a stud. He's a wizard with the puck, but don't if he takes like even a little bit of time, like, don't get mad. And I'm like, I mean, that's
Yeah, of course, because he's a rookie. But I mean, the point being that don't ignore him. That he's
right. No, exactly talent. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's one of those guys. Maybe he sees him as being too small. Still stuck on that size thing, which isn't the problem anymore, really.
I know. I think I don't know what he weighed in at camp, but I get a sneaking suspicion he's probably around 180 because he was 162, 163 this time last year. I gotta think he's put on at least 10 pounds of muscle, if not more. Because he looked a lot bigger on the ice.
He jumped it up 18 pounds, so I think you're off a little bit there. But 170, I was going to say 170.
You might be closer to like 175.
Okay, so 170.
He looked like built in person last year when I was at the BU games.
Last I heard,
he's 5'10" too officially.
Yeah, so, he's 5'10". I heard
he's Quinn Hughes' height, and Quinn Hughes hasn't had problems, so I don't want to hear that he's too small.
No, he's not. Yeah. But I heard he's 165, I think, last time I heard. So,
I think he was around. But like I said, he probably put on more than that. No, just knowing like the program and stuff there. Like,
no, but okay,
just seeing him in person, he looked more built.
But the point is, though, that 5'10", 170 is no longer too small. You may say he's on the small side, but he's not too small. When he came in, when he was drafted at barely 5'7", I think he was. You could say, okay, might be too small to be a defenseman.
He was 5'7", 155. And
he's grown. So
he's 5 foot. Like I said, he's 5'10", probably around 175. Like I said,
but I think in people's minds,
about 10 pounds of muscle.
In people's minds, he's still 5'7". And why? Because they don't follow. I mean, they're maybe not Habs fans, or they don't follow that closely to know that. So I think a lot of people still hear Lane Hudson. Oh yeah, that small guy, and that's what It's just that's it. They don't know better. So
and I also just don't think a lot of people think about the skill that these guys have, because being smaller players, they have to learn to adapt. And even use that size to their advantage, like we've seen with Cole Caulfield and Lane Hudson. And I don't think people take a lot of consideration into that, and they just have that old school mind of thinking, "Oh, he's too small, he's going to get wrecked." But no, if you watch him play, he evades hits like no tomorrow.
You can't. How can you hit him?
People miss. Like, he knows.
How can you hit him if you don't know where he's going to be? Right. So
exactly correct.
You may be attempting to hit the guy, but if he's not there when you get there, because he's fooled you, that's what he does. That's probably where that jigging and everything came from, is to avoid getting hit. That's how he developed that style that he plays.
Well, that's why he's so smart. Like,
right.
He's adapted his game.
Figured out, if I keep the puck and stay away from everybody, and they can't catch me, I won't get hit.
Or he just ducks. I saw him do that a couple times. Literally ducked.
Go under the legs of these big guys, right?
I've seen him. He did it. I saw him once do that.
Yeah,
but under the defenders, it was hilarious.
I remember when I was a kid.
Because he could get down so low. It's so funny. It's against Merrimack, I think.
When I was a kid, we played this. All the neighborhood kids got together, rented ice. I think the game was we had to get there at 4:30 in the morning. And I just remembered that I going under, doing exactly that, going under somebody in between somebody's legs. I was a small kid. It was all bigger kids that we were playing with, and I used to do that. I'd go under their legs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I was small. Then I got fat. That changed everything. I couldn't fit anymore.
And your knees kind of.
No, that's hey. At like 8, 10 years old, my knees were fine, dude.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, no. I mean, it's like I said. I just don't think a lot of people quite understand how skilled these kids are now and how well they've adapted, and been able to play at this high level at their size, and just it's all hockey IQ.
Same thing with Caulfield. I mean, it's the same thing with Caulfield. Everyone was worried, and I said, I said exactly that when those questions were out there. And so far, look, the injury to the shoulder, it wasn't from a hit. It was from him hitting the ice. So after
if anyone's landed on ice, it's
the way he put his arm. No, but it was probably from the way he put his hand down or the way his elbow hit,
which can happen even if you just fall over on the floor, it's
right. That can happen and the bigger you are, probably easier that is to happen, right? Because there's more weight behind it when you fall. So yeah, all right, we're gonna wrap this up. I hope you like that. Let us know in the comment section about anything we talked about here. Did we ask them? No. What do you think about the Weber Ring of Honor? I'd like to know that. Also, really like to know what you think about PLD saying that he just didn't feel at home. Curious what you think about that. And Max Pacioretty potentially becoming a Toronto Maple Leaf. Definitely want to hear what y'all think about that. So next week we will be coming to you. We're going to be recording the day camp opens, actually. Mm-hmm. So again, there won't be much camp news because
we should have the official weigh-ins too, so we can see how much ready these guys go.
Right, but we won't get that news till after. So that's what they're going to be doing that day is weigh-ins, physicals, and just acclimating themselves and orientation and stuff like that in day one. So we'll be here on that day. You'll see this on Thursday, though, the day after. So we'll bring you whatever we can. Potentially, we'll have Harry back for he'll be here for that one, and that's what we're going to probably talk about is camp, I would think, and any news that happens over the week coming up.
Well, definitely the prospect showcase too. Definitely touch on
Yeah, well, that's it.
I saw what we liked, what we didn't like, stuff like that. Yeah,
so that's right. We'll definitely be talking about that. And with that, I'm going to stop talking. Unless Matt wants to add anything, we're going to take off. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Till next time, stay safe out there as always. Peace out. And just have yourselves a good rest of the day wherever and whenever you're watching this. So that's it. Ciao, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, peeps.